Get the gems, Bentley Bear.
Alright, say it 5 more times and then we'll start.
Get the gems, Bentley Bear. 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 Get the gems, Bentley Bear.
Out of your system?
Get the gems, Bentley Bear.
He's a wizard who's a bear. I will get those gems.
Are you getting the game?
Crystal Castles? No, it's okay. It's not that good of a game.
Welcome back to the GlitchFeed Podcast, your source for everything gaming. I'm your host, Sarah, and this is the week of February 13th. Today I'm joined by Troy.
Hello.
And Justin.
Hey.
Hey everyone. How you doing?
I'm good. I'd like to take this moment to thank Starbucks and their double shot energy drinks for providing me the energy to do this podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice
Thank
plug.
you, Starbucks.
Alright, so this week we have a huge wave of games that came out, actually exciting, fun titles that we actually can hype out. So we have a lot to cover, so let's just roll into things and talk about this week's releases.
Go for it.
Go for it. So,
Evolve came out.
Yeah. Jesus, Troy. Jump the gun on that one, Troy.
Well, you know me.
Yeah.
Always
shot.
jumping guns.
Quick shot.
Speaking of quick shot, Evolve came out. How's that for a segue?
It did.
Nice, nice
I
segue
didn't-
back
So much noise.
to what we're talking about.
I haven't picked it up yet. Justin, I don't think has picked it up either. We're all kind of waiting. We're in a holding pattern on Evolve. I want to see how it
We
plays
really
out
are.
for like a week. And then if there's no issues, then I'll buy it.
I haven't picked it out either.
I might buy
I'm
it.
waiting.
Thanks.
I'm still waiting for a sale.
I said you haven't gotten
No,
it either.
you said you, Justin.
Then I said none of us, of the three of us, have gotten it. I knew your answer already. I was recalling Justin's. So yeah, none of us have gotten it yet. We are, I think we're all looking to pick it up, but I think we're all waiting. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy that has been going on with Evolve in terms of their design of how they want to release the game and how they want to release DLC that turned me off a little bit.
It's like it's designed like a free-to-play game, but it has a full retail price on it, and that's just kind of weird. I don't know, it's off-putting that they have all this day one DLC, and to get the complete package, what is it, like about $120 or something like that?
Something like that. And you've
So
had to
ridiculous.
have pre-ordered it, like, already. And the game's already out, so.
Yeah, too late.
Too late.
But it
Yeah,
was
so it's-
fun.
I don't know.
Well, you can still buy the stuff, but it's $15.
Yeah, it's fun, and like when I played it, I enjoyed it. It's just I don't care, and I mean I'm waiting for Grand Theft Auto 5 for PC. And
You'll be waiting a while for that one.
I will because this will get delayed again. I just have that feeling.
So, I mean, it came out. It actually had a pretty mild day one patch, which showed they were very aware of a lot of things that happened during the big alpha and the big beta in terms of like the how equal the monsters and the hunters were, balancing issues. So, I mean, they've been addressing that, and they also released a bunch of elite skins that you can unlock for free, which I think was supposed to be like the balm to soothe the wounds of all the stuff that you won't be buying unless you drop $15 a monster. But, I mean, there's a lot of excitement around it. It was a fun game, but in my mind, I enjoyed our multiplayer of Dying Light over Evolve.
I agree. Like, I'd rather go back to that and mess around, beat a zombie.
Yeah.
I noticed like Evolve kind of kicked it off like when it's announced way back, but there's a ton of like 4v1 games just hitting now, and one recently actually got canceled by BioWare.
Yeah.
But
What?
we're still in video game releases.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, but I don't know. When I was playing Dying Light, I mean, I played Evolved and I played all of like the hunters and the monster, and I got wrecked with the monster. And I just felt like when I was playing Dying Light, it was a lot evener, and the gameplay, the mode, and
More
everything.
even.
Yeah, evener, more even. It was a lot more even, and it felt like the games lasted longer. When I played the Evolve beta, the games would be like 10 minutes long because usually one would overpower the others, and it wasn't really that even for the teams. So
Well, that and I feel like a Dying Light, like Evolve, there's a build up to actually get into the action, and Dying Light, you just get right into it. Well, as far as the multiplayer goes.
I guess, I mean, if you get screwed over on a small map and Evolve, you're as the monster, you're gonna get wrecked right away. There's nowhere to hide.
It's very true.
But I haven't played it to know if there's actually a small map.
They're
Yeah, I
really
don't know.
small maps. Like,
Oh,
and having Maggie, the puppy, in it. I think it's
little
Maggie.
puppy.
Yeah, she like hunts him down right away. So
well, that's the
As-
other part too. It's like there's really
Yeah.
nothing else for the hunters to do other than go straight after the monster. I mean, at least Dying Light, you have like
There are.
another objective. Is there? Oh yeah, that's right. The other modes,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
There's other modes.
I'm
You
just-
didn't play the beta.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I played the alpha.
Yeah. But that came
It
out.
was fun when I played it, but I really, that's it. It came out. I'm gonna leave it there.
It came out. And we'll probably talk about it once we get into it more. I mean, I think externally outside of the game, it turned me off, but the game itself was still pretty fun. And I know that there is a solo mode that I didn't get a chance to try. So, it's interesting. Another game that came out, as a segue, The Escapists.
So it comes out today. It comes out officially today. It's been in early access for a while now. I've actually been playing. I actually bought it still in early access, but kind of more recently towards the end. It's a lot of fun. It's a kind of 2D. I have struggled how to describe it. It's a sandbox sort of prison escape game. There's a couple different prisons you can play through. You're an inmate. You have to escape. It's called The Escapists. I mean, come on.
But there's different ways to escape. So you could have the same prison and escape by digging a hole or climbing through the fence or dressing up as a guard and going out the front door.
Right. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. So it kind of lends itself to being kind of free form and that kind of exploratory. There's a crafting system that doesn't help you. It just kind of it doesn't really tell you what's going on. It just kind of says, here's your craft and figure it out. And it's a lot of trial and error to kind of figure out what's going on. I have a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really am. And this is a little shocking for kind of a indie sort of title for me.
They showed this off at the last E3 where they basically, it was like indie games. I think it might have been PlayStation that showed it off originally.
I think so, maybe.
And what fascinated me was just they were stressing it's all about habits. And I've seen people play this in early access, is that you can't just wander around and do what you want. If you don't show up to something, the guards get pissed and they're more likely to beat the crap out of you. So it's all about developing habits, getting better at the stuff you're doing so you can actually sneak away at night and do things, and just keeping under the radar. And I'm assuming as you go to different jails, it's harder to accomplish things. You can't just complete something and then go wander around for another hour. You have to keep
you gotta keep the jail routine while also kind of keeping up expectation, while also trying to escape basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I would definitely suggest people who are excited or who are open to this kind of game to go pick it up and give it a chance.
And I know a lot of people compared it to Prison Architect.
It's like the reverse of Prison Architect. So Prison Architect, you're the prison owner. The Escapist, you're the prisoner inside that prison. It has a similar sort of feel, actually.
Okay, and this is just coming out for PC at the moment right now, right?
No, it also is coming out for Xbox One.
There it is.
Same release.
Say, don't quote me on that one.
It originally was supposed to come out for PC only, and it was supposed to come out later in the year. But they announced double launch trailers, and they both are coming out. And I'm assuming today, as in the podcast, is coming out today.
Yes,
so
today is in Friday, the 13th.
Yes, they're coming out on both systems. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it'll come out on PlayStation later.
Possibly.
And
if Xbox ever gives it up.
Yeah. Yeah, so that came out. Another big title that came out, I believe, before we recorded this, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3DS.
Nope, that comes out, well, yeah, it will come out the day of this podcast coming out, or supposed to, rather.
Comes out on Friday the 13th.
Again?
I say it's supposed to, but I actually walked into my local Walmart yesterday, and they had it on the shelf.
Of course they did. It's Walmart.
Of course they did, yeah. Walmart doesn't give a shit.
No, they don't care.
So that title
until they get fined, and then they fire somebody. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. That comes out on Friday as well as the new 3DS XL in the US and Monster Hunter, right?
Monster Hunter
4 Ultimate.
Monster Hunter 4 already came out, right?
Yes.
4, yes.
That was the big 3DS title. It looked really good.
Yeah, isn't it also on like the Wii and the Wii U? Hasn't Monster Hunter 4 been around for a long time?
Monster Hunter,
I'm not sure about 3.
4 specifically, but I don't know. I always wanted to get into Monster Hunter series. The problem is, usually we're on the handhelds, and I don't play that. I don't gather with a group of people so we can ad hoc play it.
Oh,
right.
It was on the Wii U because they had the Connect feature where you could actually play with someone on the Wii U.
That's the thing. I didn't have the Wii U at the time when it came out for 4, I believe. So I don't know. I never experienced what's made for it, or since I felt like I couldn't experience what's made for, I never picked it up.
Well, you could have picked up Monster Hunter G. Mm-hmm. Frontier G. That was on PS3.
I missed it then.
Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii.
No,
skip that.
Talk about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Skipped a lot of stuff on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
So that came out, or that's coming out, or it is out. Other things that are coming out, some of the smaller stuff, we have Ace Combat Assault Horizon Legacy Plus for the 3DS.
Yep.
Hyperdimension and Neptunia Rebirth 2 for the Vita.
What?
Yep. Aw.
Super Stardust Ultra for the PlayStation 4. And
Yes.
Ace Combat Assault Horizon Legacy Plus for the 3DS.
I was
I already
going
said that.
the reverse.
Oh, I wasn't really. Did you already say that
Yes,
one?
I did.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, we're really excited for that game.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
me.
Chivalry Medieval Warfare came out for PS3. Is that not a typo?
That's not a typo. It's been on PC for a while. It
Yeah.
just came out on PS3.
3.
Yeah, it's weird.
Said 3, right?
That's a
Yeah,
3.
3.
Okay.
So those are the games that came out this week.
Same, a very good game.
Yeah.
Alright, whatever.
Better.
There were some
Cool.
game announcements this week too. We don't usually talk about game announcements, but there were some very interesting ones that happened this week as you guys cross-check the dates on that. So one of the big ones I covered earlier that it started last week was Q Bert Rebooted was announced for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and Vita. And this isn't like how Virtual Console is. They're actually redoing the entire game and including a bunch of new features. And the biggest one is that they're changing it from cubes to hexagons.
Whoa!
And
Oh, blow my mind.
well, basically it's adding different map styles and adding a lot of just different features to it. They also added new characters. They added a score mode and a time mode, I believe, and they added new enemies. I don't know why I'm just talking out of my butt on this one and not actually reading the article.
I don't know. It's nice to see Q Bert come back, though.
Well, he was in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, this is true. A lot of things are Wreck-It Ralph, but, I mean, come back into a game form. He's classic. He should be around. Pac-Man go on Smash Brothers Q Bert and get shit.
I mean, there hasn't been a Crystal Castles remake, so I won't say what is and what shouldn't be a rebooted title. But let's just say there's a bear who happens to be a wizard that is very disappointed in society right now.
Oh my gosh. Moving on.
Moving on.
Another announcement that they came out with this week is, well, it was kind of an announcement. I guess that they talked about it in E3, but there are more details on Ratchet and Clank for PS4. And by more details, I mean Insomniac made an article about Ratchet and Clank PS4 with screenshots.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
But they're not really screenshots. They're just the same picture without the title.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ratchet and Clank is one of those games that, I mean, it's Insomniac, so they have other games, but it's one of those games that a lot of people say, like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, is something that was their childhood gaming. It wasn't as big as them, but it is one that's continued through the generations.
Well, the problem is, like, in the PS3 era, they just kind of started spitting them out back to back, and what was the last one? All in one, R for one, or something? I don't know. Like, it's just, the quality of it declined. So I'm hoping they're taking their time with this one. It's going to be like that true classic, Ratchet and Clank experience.
They updated gameplay with completely new visuals built from the ground up from the PlayStation 4 as a reimagined original Ratchet and Clank.
That'd be nice. I mean, it's cool to see, like, a platformer come back. We don't get too many of those. Well, like in the 3D platformer sense.
We just got an awesome platformer with Sonic Boom, Rise of the Lyric.
Shut up.
Okay, yeah. Exactly. That's what we got.
Okay, so
everything I'm saying today is just falling, just plummeting.
Another thing that's been on my radar is Playtonic Games, a new quote-unquote indie developer or indie studio that comes with a bunch of guys that developed Rare Limited. And so their team has done a lot of stuff for Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Country, Viva Pinata. And so they are basically announcing their Project Yooka-Laylee, which is a spiritual successor to what a lot of people feel is Banjo-Kazooie.
God, that'd be nice.
So
basically, was that the core team that made Banjo-Kazooie is actually making this?
There's a guy who programmed Donkey Kong Country, the character designer behind Banjo and Kazooie, and the artist who made the console fit to burst with lavish environments across a decade's worth of adventure games.
That's exciting, because let's say even Banjo-Kazooie came back and they threw Rare on it, but when you think about it, Rare doesn't really mean anything anymore, because everybody's behind those classic properties just isn't there anymore. So to actually see those people making a game that we want them to make, that's exciting.
Let's see, so the project director and software engineer had 25 years at Rare and worked on Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie and was the producer on Viva Pinata. The managing director and lead also worked on Banjo-Kazooie, Viva Pinata. The character art director did Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, Viva Pinata. Technical director did Perfect Dark Zero. I mean, they all have Banjo-Kazooie in it, so they have the right mindset to do a spiritual successor. They all have the passion for it, so
I'm excited.
Yeah, so that was announced.
But
so I mean,
that was announced.
I guess on the 13th. So when this comes out, they're going to be releasing an article with better pictures and discussion on their new project. So it's going to be in our radar we'll be looking out for it moving forward. Another game that Troy talked about in yesterday's, as in Tuesday's Daily Glitch, is Troy. What'd you talk? Please, I don't know anything about it. Go for it.
Atari announced yesterday that they are bringing back
Tuesday.
one of the oldest. Sorry, Tuesday. You're right. They're bringing back one of their oldest franchises, Asteroids, as a multiplayer survival game for PC.
What?
Yes. A bold reimagining, they call it in their press release, of the world-renowned 1979 arcade shooter. They put the roles of deep space miners, they struggle for survival in the asteroid belt, there's an open-world sandbox-style survival experience where players mine, build, and defend their base, grow their fortune as they go from rocks to riches, unquote. So here's the thing. It is going to be released on early access. It is being developed by a new studio. Let me circle back. It's being released on early access. Let's start right there. It is being developed by a new developer called Salty Games. Apparently they're founded by industry veterans with decades of AAA development experience, including Call of Duty, Star Trek Online. That's it. Those are the ones. Those are the big call-outs.
Those are the ones we care about.
No, those were the call-outs, including Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghost, Star Trek Online. Those were their top games.
That's a weird call-out.
And looking actually through a couple of their developers, Salty Games doesn't really exist on the web yet, except if you're looking hard enough, like I have been. A lot of them are coming from Activision. A couple of them are coming from different divisions in there. A couple from Atari or Infro Games, depending on what year you look at. But then they have a little line at the very bottom of their press release that says basically about Salty Games, and it mentions Salty Games is supported with technical and infrastructure support from Arctos Entertainment Group. Arctos, ARKTOS, excuse me, is a kind of entertainment company. Basically, they buy development teams and development houses and kind of put them under one roof and combine all their resources, basically making a game production factory, if you will. They bought, about 2.5 years ago, the developer of The War Z. Do you guys remember The War Z?
No.
Exactly. But
exactly.
Yeah, that was
The War Z, yeah.
They were going after DayZ's crown, came out, and it was just shit.
It was so bad that they had to change their name for copyright reasons. I think it's Infestation Survivor something. I forget the actual...
World War Z?
No, The War Z.
I know, is that the copyright issue?
I think it probably was the...
Yeah, they're kind of... It sounded a weird conflict.
Infestation Survivor Stories was the renaming of the game. They pulled... It was released in an alpha in October of 2012. It was pulled very soon after that. And it was like pulled from Steam, pulled from early access. So it was a huge deal. The issue there is this game wasn't released into early access like this until Arctos took over. The assumption is that they told them to move it to early access. They pushed it through development. The lead developer became the CEO of Arctos. Arctos CEO became kind of like the lead developer and publisher on the title. And generally, I can assume that it was because of this big warehouse company buying and telling them what to do. That company is now in charge of as a technical and support structure for a smaller developer working for Atari who is releasing an early access survival game. Does anyone else see the fucked up world that this is going to make?
Very. Not only that is, you explained this game, I already played it, Space Engineers.
It's exactly that. Yeah, that's the other point I had. That game already exists, Space Engineers, except with more, like, I don't know, weight, because it says asteroids in the title.
I guess. I mean,
I don't know, but like, yeah, this game already exists, and B, it's being developed by a company that has a track record of just dirt and disgusting bile. I don't have any good feeling about this game. I feel like we're going to be talking about this in 8 months when they release the alpha, and it's so god awful on early access, and we'll be having the early access discussion again.
Okay.
Popular topic for us. Okay.
That's my 2 cents. I've done a lot of digging on this, to the point of literally hunting down the developers for Salty Games on like LinkedIn and Indeed and some things. So I've been doing a lot of digging on this, and I'm very wary about what's going to happen here.
You deserve to be. Everybody should be. So don't jump into this. You see it go up on Steam, don't buy in.
Don't. Please don't. I'm begging all of our 10 listeners, do not get behind this game. It'll only disappoint you. I'm calling it now.
And you'll lose all your money when they pull it.
Calling it right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's me. That's my 2 cents for today.
So that's some of the big announcements that we had in terms of game releases. There was one other thing that happened this week. EA had a press conference on Monday where they kind of talked about a little bit of their future, at least 2015, their future in gaming. And one of the things they talked about was Dragon Age and BioWare. And they basically stated, as should be expected, there's not going to be a new Dragon Age title in 2015. Inquisition just came out. They're still kind of living on the kind of success of it. I mean, it won a lot of awards. Anything that comes out would be pushing it at this point. So
yeah, I'll put it this way: they're learning from what they did with Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, so,
yes.
Which they pushed out within a year after Dragon Age.
Yeah, it was within a year.
I mean,
that was horrible.
They can just wait, and that's fine. But they did announce that BioWare was working on some independent IP titles that they're very excited about. So the team is doing something, but they aren't doing Dragon Age, which is fine by me.
Didn't they announce that at E3?
Yeah.
Wasn't it E3 they had big EA thing, and they kind of mentioned, like, hey, we're also working on some instant IP.
They even had a trailer for something, but the game they announced at E3, they canceled.
That open world, like, action sports thing?
Shadow Realms, yeah.
Oh,
it's supposed to be another.
Shadow Realms.
Well, Shadow Realms is one thing they did reveal there, which was supposed to be like a 4v1 thing. That was supposed to be a big BioWare. Like, they showed a trailer, no one knew what it was, and that was Shadow Realms. That's one thing they showed off at E3.
Oh, no, I was thinking of, like, the Burnout Dev
Oh, no, I
kind of
don't
game
know
where
that.
it was, like, action sportsy, and they showed, like, a very, very early build of it. It's kind of cool looking. It was, like, all stunts and stuff. It was neat.
But I'm talking about, like, the big one, they're like, oh, BioWare's working on a mysterious game, or mystery game, and then they, like, showed it off, and now it's canceled.
Yeah.
Which I guess is why he kind of was just like, we're working on stuff, but we're not going to show you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean...
Well, it keeps him safe. I mean, you don't want to put too much hype into a game that's not,
right.
Ready to be made.
Right.
Like, look at like, Project Titan. I mean, Blizzard sat on that and churned on that for how many years before they finally said, nah. Overwatch?
Yeah.
So
at least they knew this one a year in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another thing they talked about Titanfall. And a lot of people are excited for Titanfall 2. And they never officially announced the title, but they did say that Titanfall 2 was coming, potentially, and that it would be too big for one system, or too big for one console. So they did say it will likely be multi-platform. And they also announced, based on their success of Titanfall, that they would make it their goal to produce at least one first-person shooter every year.
I think they heavily regret Titanfall coming just on Xbox One. Because I think they were like...
And PC.
Depending on...
And
and PC. And 360, yeah. Because I think they're depending on Microsoft to slamming Sony into the ground, but the PS4 actually did well during this time. So,
yeah, they kind of put their back on Xbox, and it didn't necessarily not pay off. Titanfall was a huge title for the One. I think that was the title that sold the One for a little while.
Yeah, it was the title.
At least at first. That was really the AAA kind of shooter that was there.
Yeah. It was fun for a month and a half, and everybody kind of forgot about it.
Yeah,
which is sad,
we picked it up on PC when it came to the EA free weekend or week or whatever thing. Game Time, that's what it was. I mean, we talked about that in the podcast episode 4.
Yeah, which I want to go back and play it, especially because they added entire new modes to it for free, like the horde mode he added.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be fun maybe to go back. I'll see if it ever comes. It was just on sale on Xbox Store recently, and I kind of regret not picking it up, like the gold version.
It'll probably go on sale again.
It probably will, but so yeah, Titanfall 2 is exciting. I was excited for Titanfall, and I think I mentioned this to somebody when it came out. I'm excited to see it, a lot like Shadow and Mordor. I'm excited to see the sequel once they learned everything they did from the first one. How they transitioned to it into kind of a better game.
Speaking of Shadow and Mordor, were they the ones that basically said games aren't taking enough risks? Some developer said that games need to take more risks to be successful. And Shadow and Mordor was one of those that did take a risk with a new system, and it went well.
With their system, they took a risk. With their actual gameplay, though, they kind of didn't, because they copied from a lot of other successful...
True. You mean Batman?
Batman and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, taking a risk on the Nemesis system was brilliant. But it's almost like, let's build this solid gameplay out of stuff we know that works. So start in this crazy thing, let's see what happens. So,
Right.
I don't know. If they said that, they didn't 100% live up to it. But they're right. I mean, we need more than just like, cookie cutter, released every year, safe titles.
That was actually Randy Pitchford
Okay.
of Gearbox.
Thank you.
That said games need to take more risks.
Thank you.
Right around like the Borderlands.
That's right. It was Borderlands.
Yeah, it was more recently. Yeah.
Which is another thing. They're not taking big leaps at the moment either. Which they're working on something now. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't know. I'm excited. It's just I just haven't seen them do anything but Borderlands, and finally ending the joke of Duke Nukem Forever. But
actually, it's funny you bring that up, Sarah. That article came out today.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. That's why I was thinking about it.
Games must embrace risks to move forward. Borderland exec. It's an article on GameSpot right now, but it basically, a recent interview, he kind of talked about what he in Las Vegas last week. Talked about like games will never get there in the future if we're not comfortable taking some risks and trying things we haven't done before, rather.
It's true.
So yeah. Speaking of kind of press conferences,
well, we have Gamescom coming up, and so a lot of our announcements are kind of holding off. That's coming out next month. Not Gamescom. GDC. Yeah.
Yes.
That is in March.
Right.
It is right after PAX.
So we're starting to get into news where people are like, we'll talk more about this at Gamescom.
So, funny you should mention GDC. Again, not Gamescom.
Son of a bitch! What is Gamescom? Did that just happen? Why?
Isn't that in the fall?
That's in the fall. I don't know why. I didn't read anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know why I suddenly want to talk about it. GDC.
So, speaking of GDC and PAX, those are coming up a lot sooner, but Bethesda just announced that they're doing an E3 conference now.
Which is interesting.
They announced a conference for June 14th. That's the 2 days before E3. It's like the weekend before E3, I think, or the Thursday or something before E3.
So when we're talking about conference, they're stepping up with, what's it right now? EA, Ubisoft, of course Sony, Microsoft. I guess Nintendo stepped down because they do their directs now.
Yeah. But no, this is before E3 even starts. Those big showcases usually take place the first couple days of E3. This is 2 days before E3 at a theater in Hollywood. It's not at.
Oh wow! So it's kind of like what Sony did recently with the PlayStation Experience, and I forget who else did one.
Sort of, where this is just a conference. This is just kind of one presentation for something for Bethesda, with the assumption that they announce whatever it is 2 days before E3, and then that's all their E3 is about. That's what their floor is about. That's what their presentations, their conferences, their interviews are all going to be about. Whatever they announce at E3. They have no idea what it is yet. No one does. I'm really hoping for Fallout 4. I think everyone on the internet is.
Yeah, there's rumblings of Fallout 4, rumblings of
Fallout 4 all the time.
I mean, not so much, but Elder Scrolls 6. There's also a lot of people are speculating because they've been so quiet that they might be developing some sort of new just technology or system.
Not only that, I mean, they got a ton of other developers under them. So, I mean, we could see something about a new Dishonored. We could see something about Rage. I almost guarantee Doom will definitely be there.
We'll see probably remakes of stuff. We'll probably see Dishonored 2 or something.
What was it, Brink? Wasn't that their shooter? I think it was Brink 2. Or no, it was Brink. Yeah, Brink, Bethesda. It was that class-based shooter.
They do publish a lot. Let's see, Battlecry. Sarah should know about that.
Yes, I know all about Battlecry.
It'd be nice for him to see something do more stuff with Evil Within. Wolfenstein did great, so I mean,
it's got to be something big enough to drive having a conference before the conference.
Well, they're going to have a lot of smaller stuff, definitely, and they're probably going to have one. I mean, they're probably going to have those, but they're going to probably have at least one, if not multiple, new IPs that we don't have, and they're also going to probably have some new system that's going to run their new games that they're going to preview. Because
and that's the thing, it needs to be a Bethesda developed thing, something new that they show off. Either if it's like we're hoping for Fallout 4, or like Sarah's mentioned, a new game engine, which will premiere in Fallout 4.
I mean, that's what Fallout 3 was or Oblivion, I think, one of the two, whichever came first. Was that was that engine that drove really everything up through Skyrim.
Yeah.
That same kind of, I forget the name. It's not Crytek, but it's something similar. I forget the name of it. I wish I knew it offhand. But that kind of engine. So if they developed a new engine, they would have to put it on something something like a Fallout.
Right, a Fallout or Oblivion or something that...
Exactly.
Which I think definitely it is. But I think it's not just going to be a game title, but
No, I don't think it's just that one.
Well,
I agree.
Well, no,
it's going to be,
here's
a game, here's a couple new IPs, and here's a new engine. But here's kind of the big announcement is this.
Right.
You know, the capstone of the whole presentation.
I mean, how they like to do it too, like, or most do, it's like, hey, we got this new engine, and then at the very end, before they think it's over, it's like, and you will see this engine in...
Exactly.
In multiple titles, definitely, but then,
Sure.
but then the big ones
title.
would be Fallout.
I mean, I swear, if they go up there, it's like, we're going to do Fallout online. I will.
No.
Done.
No. Bethesda,
Done.
no. Bethesda, why? I would play that, though.
But
I would play
in
that
terms
game.
of Battlecry, which is their MOBA, since you guys called me out on it, they are
I'm
starting...
totally calling out on it.
Well, they are starting their beta testing for it next month, I believe. And so there's going to be a lot more news on that, and it's a very interesting setting. I'm sure I'll talk about more about it in a different talk, because we still got a lot more to talk about. But yeah, so we just finished our first segment, which was announcements. So some bigger announcements that have a lot more opinions on. So did you guys hear about the live action Zelda that's coming to Netflix?
Did I?
Did you?
Oh.
Let me tell you. Sources close to Netflix say that the Netflix is sourcing a new live action series for The Legend of Zelda.
Hold on, Troy. Excuse me. You mean they're going to do a live action Zelda?
That's what I just said.
Please don't.
Fucking kidding me?
Please,
I had to throw an excuse me line in there. Come on.
Either take yourself seriously or don't. That's all I gotta say. Like, make it the absolute most ridiculous thing possible, like our favorite Mario Brothers movie.
Hey, Sarah, when was the last time Nintendo did a live action production?
I was just saying that.
What year was that?
I don't know. What year was it?
91? 93.
Let's just drive to the point. It was Mario Brothers.
It was the best movie of that era.
It defined the concept that Mario and Luigi's last name is Mario.
God damn it. Mario.
Meaning that it's Mario, and Luigi Mario.
I liked the show better.
Oh,
It
yes.
did star Bob Hoskins, by the way. Rest in peace.
Yeah, and Dennis Hopper. Also, rest in
Dennis
peace.
Hopper as Bowser.
Who was Luigi?
technically.
John... I ain't gonna
Luigiano.
Oh,
Thank you.
I actually most recently watched the
he's
riff
out.
tracks of
Which
that
I think
movie.
of Bob Hoskins' favorite story about that is when he talks to his kid, and his kid asks him, Dad, why did you do the Mario movie? He's like, oh, you needed new shoes. And the kid responds back,
Lots of money.
yeah. The kid responds back, he's like, I didn't need shoes that badly.
Nobody needed shoes that bad. He had a 48, by the way, 93, and it had a $48 million budget. So there you go. There's that. By the way, watch that movie. I just did the other day when we were talking about, when I did a daily glitch on it.
Yeah.
I watched like a good half of the movie.
Or watch riff tracks. Riff tracks
that's
does
as far
a
as
great
you made
job.
it.
It's as far, well, I was clicking through it because I was trying to find a good scene to cut into, and then I'm like,
Let's go back to something that
great.
hopefully will be kind of closer to like. I mean, if anybody's seen the spoof April Fool IGN live action Zelda joke they did, that's a hopefully if something.
There was that, and there was also a Japanese Super Nintendo commercial that was a live action
April
Zelda.
Fool's.
The first
Love that.
half of it is a dance. That was not April
Oh.
Fool's. That was a commercial for Super Nintendo.
Okay. Just kidding.
The IGN thing was more recent, was a April Fool's joke.
Well, more recent, but it was still like, damn, it was a long time ago.
It was a couple years ago, but it was still more recent than the Super Nintendo commercial from Japan.
Yes, it was. But I think aren't they explaining that they kind of want to do a Game of Thrones for kids?
That's
the
how they kind of
premise of
described it. They want Game of Thrones for family. So probably less dying, but still the kind of gritty, actiony kind of
less
thing, which
sex,
still doesn't make any sense for... Yeah, less nudity, I would assume.
And
Does Netflix
before
have
you...
nudity?
Sure, it's Netflix. Why not?
Yeah, before you... It does. Trust me, I watched enough random porns that I wasn't aware it was a porn until suddenly I saw boobs, thanks to Netflix.
Is that your definition of porn? Is
Well,
you see
no,
a
okay, it
boob?
was softcore, but whatever. It was kind of awkward. It was... Okay, but my point was...
No, hold on. Let's go back to this.
I mean, I ended
Softcore
up
porn on
watching the
Netflix.
entire
Your
movie
thoughts?
anyway, but...
Of course you did.
I like that category. It's like, no, I'm clear. Softcore.
It was.
Softcore.
It was
Oh,
softcore.
Thank you for categorizing it, Sarah.
It's like the stuff
So-
you watch on Cinemax. You don't
Skinemax.
see any of the action down below, but it happens.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you watch on Cinemax?
But okay, so the reason why I watched it was because I was looking for things similar to Orange is the New Black, which was my point that before you stop and say, "Oh my God, it's on Netflix, it's gonna suck," there are a lot of really good Netflix series that have come out lately. So
I
I
know,
think,
and Daredevil's looking awesome too.
Mhm. So I think it'll be okay as long as they don't cut corners.
It will be, and I'm just kind of curious if they're going to try to make their own thing, or if they're going to try to like pick a certain game and base it off of that story. But I'm curious. I'm excited.
I could see them taking the main kind of general theme of Zelda and just kind of making it work over 10 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited if it happens, because it's still kind of up in the air right now.
Yes.
I mean, they're saying it's coming, but yeah,
Yes.
we'll see.
So that's our Zelda news, which I don't know. Today, a guy at work in IT just said he was working on my computer and suddenly his phone went off with the Zelda ringtone. We had a moment. We were super nerds.
Did it turn into one of those movies you were watching on Netflix?
Oh, it totally did. Ooh, yeah. Speaking of movies watching on Netflix and turning into it, Dying Light now has modding tools.
That had nothing to do with what you just said, A. And B, no, it does not have modding tools. They are developing modding tools for it.
Okay.
So Dying Light, Techland announced, okay, so rewind.
New segment.
Techland, like last week. Yes, okay, first off, new segment, Dying Light. Techland had an issue like last week, mid-around last week. They patched their game and basically broke modding support. They stated that they didn't mean to do that. It was more to stop cheating online, or to prevent kind of modding that affects online PvP, via zombie mode. But they broke a lot of mods, and then there were reports of them putting out DMCA, DMCA, I have to do the acronym every time, violations on the modders, saying that they need to take them down for DMCA complaints. It was not founded that those actually came from Techland or came from WB Games, but people say they happened. They kind of rebuffed and said that wasn't us. And after that later that week, they announced that they are developing modding tools. They asked players and modders to help design their tools by putting their input in on their forums, and stating that they're super excited about modding. They always have been with like Call of Juarez and Dead Island, and they would be supporting any of the coolest mods they saw. They would help support and patch around getting them more support for the game. So it's a really cool, I think a really cool step by Techland to really kind of, support PC gaming and support PC game modding and that community that comes with it. Modding, I've talked about this before, modding adds a huge tail to your game because people are still wanting to play it months and months and years later because there's still always something to do and something new to try. So
right.
It's exciting to see.
On top of that,
especially with how much fun we've had with Dying Light.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. On top of that, they actually made an announcement today, as in Wednesday, that they are talking about their new update, a free update that's happening in March. And one of the things coming to that update, based on gamers who completed the game and wanted a harder game, is that they are releasing hard mode. And it's free for everyone. And hard mode will include fewer resources, deadlier, more vicious enemies, and more difficult nighttime scenarios.
Oh, good. More difficult nighttime scenarios. Just what I need.
Just what I need. It wasn't difficult enough.
Yeah, it wasn't already hard as shit with the...
My first nighttime, I was dropping the F-bomb left and right. Like, it was...
I've been trying to beat the game. Justin, have you gotten close to beating the game?
I think I'm the thing says I'm 75% in, so...
I don't know where I'm at yet, but I just had to do a mission where it basically forced me to go halfway across the city at night. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. Turns out I could have waited until daytime, and I did. By dying repeatedly until it became daytime. And it was super easy at daytime to get over there.
Were you dying for the light?
Additionally,
yes.
With that gameplay, so Dying Light, I'm sure you guys have faced this frustration, is there's been a lot of issues since its launch. And they've been making a lot of patches in order to fix these issues. Well, like frame rate issues, recording issues, all of that stuff. And
I've had frame rate and recording issues because I'm an idiot.
It's happened to a lot of people that it just there's
some patches coming out to fix one thing that actually causes that thing to happen.
Right.
Like I think there's an inventory bug happening.
Well, there's also a memory leak. I think that's the correct term. But basically, the new for the past 2 weeks, I think they kept saying it's coming. We are trying to address this issue. We know it's happening, and hopefully, this update will be part of the mini improvements to gameplay. They will fix that, and they also are introducing new character outfits.
That'd be nice. They have been promoting transparency with their issues. Like, they fully tell you what's happening, and they can tell you in detail what's going on. And they're trying. They're trying their hardest. But, on the other flip side, they got generous with their DLC. Like, a lot of stuff that you had to pre-order to get, or you had to get by getting the season pass, they're actually just kind of giving it to you now. So, it's nice. I don't know what they're going to do for season pass holders, because they actually gave away most of the stuff you get in there.
Oh yeah, they also announced their DLC that's coming up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, which the first pack should be hitting soon.
Cargo and Cuisine, $5 expansion. It's available now, actually.
Oh, nice.
Hardcore missions.
What was the? Did they announce like where was the stadium thing? Was that this one or the next one?
Ultimate Survivor bundle? No.
Maybe. No, they announced basically like this one's opening up a restaurant and something else. Yeah, so there's another one that's going to go to the stadium. You can see, like, it's funny because you can see all of these places like in the distance and in the horizon that you can't get to. But they're adding them in with DLC. That's pretty cool, though. I like it.
By the way, it's a nice touch to the game too. It kind of reminds me back like to old Castlevanias when you stroll across, but you see in the background the castle or the part you're actually going to get to and walk across. They do that a lot in that game, or at least like outside the zone you're in. Like you see the stadium that DLCs can play in. If you look across, you can see the old town that you get to go in. And when you go to Old Town, you look back, you can see the bridge and everywhere else you've been. So I don't know, it's interesting. I like what they're doing. Too bad it's buggy, but they're trying.
It's buggy.
It's not that buggy to me.
Well, that's what I was saying too. It's buggy, but it's tolerable. Like I drop frames a little bit. It's just recording. It looks fine on my computer, but my recording's shit. And a lot of people are having issues with that on OBS. So
my recording, I think our recording is shit because it's our fault. Because I'm an idiot. I know that. And I recently recorded something in it that actually turned out just fine. So maybe we should talk.
Yeah, we probably should talk before we allow that out.
But
no, legitimately, I've looked on the forums. You guys can say it's not everyone, but that has been a major issue on the forums. There have been professional YouTubers that have reported issues with this game. And they are addressing it. They have announced they're addressing it. So even if I'm doing something myself, it still is an issue that a lot of people are facing. So suck it.
Jesus fuck. So, fine.
Don't cut it out. I'm right.
Alright. Jesus. Don't cut out my Crystal Castles reference.
I didn't want you to.
Good. So, yeah, I haven't, like, Dying Light's been fun. It hasn't been that buggy for me. I think the bugs are manageable. It's not like, and it's not buggy in a game-breaking way like Unity or Master Chief Collection have kind of given us. It's buggy in a way that's not like game changing.
Yeah, it doesn't end your game pretty much.
I mean,
well, except my character, but that's a different story.
So let's move on quick because we got a couple more things to cover and we're kind of running a little lower on time.
Do we need to talk about it? Can we go to our big topic?
Yeah,
let's
just
skip our big topic.
Well, no, I think this topic right here, it's important to mention.
So, really quick, Sony Online Entertainment. Actually, Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Okay, we recently know that Sony Online Entertainment has been acquired and been changed to Daybreak Games. And we're kind of wondering what's going to happen. Well, they already hit some layoffs, but it's not like they're just laying off just like, side people. They're laying people off like David Georgeson. Yes, which has been the face of EverQuest. And just a bunch of people. It sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, I saw that and was immediately concerned for the EverQuest Next project.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's not like they're just laying off just some of the janitor or something like that. No, they're actually laying off some of their lead directors. Mm-hmm. So they're shaking things up. It doesn't, from right now, it doesn't sound like it's for the best, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I've been worried about it, now I'm further worried about it.
Like, you can worry about it, but they're still probably trying to figure out what direction they're going. And maybe,
I mean, they did.
Maybe he wasn't laid off, but it just was a conflict of interest.
No, he was laid off.
He was laid off.
I know, but
it wasn't.
It could have been a conflict of interest or something. I mean, they don't say.
I mean, they did announce layoffs were going to happen because they had to, get to a financially stable point, but they didn't expect somebody like that, or at least we didn't. But hope to everybody there who's hopefully still there at Daybreak or who's been let go, wishing the best.
Yep, absolutely.
But speaking of developers and games that break and stuff and struggles, let's get into our next topic.
Yeah.
Take it away, Troy.
Sure. So, couple days ago, news giant Rock Paper Shotgun reported an article, wrote basically a nice write up of Godus, the old is that the right?
I think it's Godus.
Godus.
It's Molyneux. It's Godus.
I've always said Godus. I don't know. Peter Molyneux's game, God Simulator, kind of world building. He had a huge push for it on Kickstarter and on through his weird mobile clicking game Curiosity, like the box, and you would tap it and it would take away squares. Anyways, the last person to click the box got a prize, and it was supposedly life changing. I'll talk about that in a minute. They basically posted an article that said, where is it? This game's been in development for, a year and a half or so, and we haven't seen anything. And they just kind of go into the struggles of Peter Molyneux and constantly Molyneuxed.
But granted, it's out there. I mean, it's in early access. It's just a lot of the key features. The ones that Molyneux, well, he hypes up. The ones he always talks about and never delivers on. It's
right.
It's just happening again.
But the issue has been now he's promised these things and people have put money towards them.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's doing this with public backing, not from a game company that's pushing it. It's from people who are believing in this project and gave their money towards it.
Exactly.
Kickstarter?
Yes. Yeah, it's all been all through Kickstarter. It's very frustrating because it's his kind of MO for games, but I don't know if anyone thought this would kind of happen. And the issue is now that the developer 22 Cans is downsizing. They're not working as much on the game. They're hitting huge snags. It's just totally dead. And after they published the article, it had a huge backing online. A bunch of different networks picked it up, and then to the point where Molyneux actually put out a video, or 22 Cans made a video that did not help at all in the slightest. Basically, with two of the developers of 22 Cans and Peter Molyneux, and it also didn't help the slightest. There's still so many issues with the game, and it's a big deal.
Huge deal.
Yeah, it's just it's ruining the trust of games, of platforms like Kickstarter to deliver products and things to people. It's frustrating because I've seen a lot of good things on Kickstarter that went very well and that I've personally backed and have received, and it's been great. And I've seen ones that people have backed that have gone nowhere and have ultimately led to, threats of lawsuits and class actions. So
I have enjoyed Kickstarter a lot, actually, and that's the thing about Kickstarter is people go in this faith that I'm going to drop this money for a game that has yet to be created or even worked on, and it's going to follow these predicted milestones, and they're not going to face any issues along the way. And I'm more of the physical production type side of things, like miniature games, tabletop miniatures, and there is always a delay for some reason, be it they can't produce the content or there's something going on in China. I mean, whatever it is, there's always at least like a few months delay. And it happens. But I mean, with something like a guy saying, I'm going to create this game, give me money, here's my ideas, but I haven't started yet, how can you not expect there to be issues? That's my opinion.
Well, the thing is, this thing has been kickstarted in 2012.
There's a lot of things that have been kickstarted in 2012 with delays. I mean...
And, well, let's get into another disappointment part with the winner of the Curiosity experiment.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian Henderson, this kid, I think he was 18 when this whole thing came out. 22 Cans about this game, Curiosity. It was a mobile game. Basically, you tapped a giant cube and got rid of squares, and the last person would win a life-changing prize for Godus. They would basically become the god of gods within the game. A share of the royalty, a special, access to the game that other people didn't have. And he talks about how, at first it was they brought him in, they had a lot of hush-hush kind of discussions on what he got. It ended up being 1% of the revenue for the game. And then they kind of just left it there. And that was it. He emailed him once a month. Eurogamer had a really good write-up on it. He would check in with the company every month, and eventually it came to the point where this isn't, it's no longer professional. It's just, they're not working on it anymore, and he's not excited. He's not even looking to even see anything back from him.
No, he's trying to email them, they won't respond. I think he actually wrote a letter out. It's I went to go visit them, they weren't really nice to me. I don't know,
they were very odd and kind of cold to him. They brought him out, they kind of sat him down, played the game, and it was a little. He said it was a little off-putting, and they took him to the bar after, and no one ever showed, Molyneux never showed up. He kind of ended up talking to an intern for a while, and that was it. That was the whole thing, and then it was downhill from there.
Yeah, it's awkward.
It's pretty bad. I mean, and it goes to show you, Molyneux is consistently doing this, and somehow we all believed he wouldn't.
So
it would be somehow better.
So, the moral of the story in this case, and for any Kickstarter and anything going on, is that, there's always a risk. involved when you're going to backing in something that's so new. And it really is important to do your research on the product where it's currently at and who's running the product and their history. So like for the issue in this case is that Molyneux has a lot of issues. In my previous experience, a project that already has a good foundation, that has work already put into it, is often going to be more successful and on time than a project that is just starting off, that they're asking for an exorbitant amount of money and they just push a bunch of cool pictures on there and that's all they've done so far.
Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Well, Star Citizen has a roadmap.
I do have a roadmap.
2016.
So does Daisy.
The risk of Star Citizen, and I've seen this with some things I've backed before, is that when you have something that's asking for like $1,000 and they make $100,000 and they have all these extra perks and promises, is that suddenly that's 1,000 times delayed because they have to suddenly address all of these extra promises that they've made. And people get upset when Kickstarter doesn't do promises anymore, but it's because devs just decide, they're like, we can't do this anymore. We can't back this because when we start making all these promises to you, yeah, it looks great as perks, but it's going to cause us to delay our game more and more to cover this stuff. So with Star Citizen, it's like, how are you going to ever finish this game with everything that you put into it? And I mean, at least they have the money.
So, I mean, sort of. They're kind of, I'm assuming, running out of funding 2 years later.
Yeah, but it's disgusting how much money they've made for that game.
It is. So, circling back to what's wrong with this game, just to kind of wrap it up, there's key features that they said, and exactly what you pointed, those stretch goals that were out of reach, making of books, multiplayer, Linux support on a platform that doesn't even, like the coding, the engine that it's built on doesn't even support Linux.
It's on Mac, isn't it? Like it's on my iPad. I played it on my iPad.
It has a mobile component which was on the project timeline, but even that isn't completely integrated. It's just kind of a version of it. It's not on OS 10. It's on iOS, which is different.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of the ultimate thing is the guy who won the Brian Hartford hasn't seen a single cent from the game.
So unfortunate. That makes me
Brian
the most
Henderson,
upset.
rather.
Like the other stuff, it's kind of like, as much as it sucks to say, it's like, well, they screwed the pooch on it, but to make a promise to someone, like specifically one person, and say this is a reward and we're going to guarantee this no matter what, and then to be shady about it, like... It's
very disheartening.
Yeah. If they couldn't back it, they shouldn't have done it. They should have done something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's that. I actually own the game on Steam. I don't know where I picked it up. I don't remember buying it, but I definitely have it.
That's I played it on my iPad. I mean, it was free to play, and it makes more sense as a touchscreen.
No, it is a touchscreen game, like 100%.
Yeah, it's basically mouse only with no instructions as usual.
And all you do is tap.
But, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's very pretty, but it doesn't have a point, and it doesn't have any goals, and it doesn't feel like a completed. Excuse me, doesn't feel like a completed game.
Yeah, it looks like it had a lot of potential that just...
A lot of Peter Molyneux support and a lot of ideas from his brain, but none of them that actually panned out.
Yeah, I was watching the patch today, and they explained it perfect. Peter Molyneux is the drunk uncle of game developers. He's just out there spouting shit, and he hasn't lived up to any of it. Like, everybody remembers, like, Populous was good. Yeah. Dungeon Keeper, it was okay. Black and White? Yeah, then Fable, yeah.
Nah, but Fable had a lot more promises than it gave out, and Fable 2 had the same promises. Fable 3 had even more, and now we're at, Fable Legends? That is nothing like what they originally set out to do in Fable.
Molyneux has nothing to do with Fable Legends anymore, so it doesn't matter.
No, I guess my point is, like, the series never became what his original goal was. It never lived up to his original expectations or aspirations 3 games later.
Like, it seems like Molyneux's peak was Populous. Or Populous. Yeah.
Really right there, that kind of, that era of games were kind of it.
And that was it. And he's just fallen now. He has ideas. I'm interested in his ideas. Just can't make them work.
Can't keep him on track. No. Can't keep a studio under him.
I feel bad for the studios. Like, can you imagine working there? Like, you're sitting there working on something. Like, a plan already. The Molyneux just comes like, I want a game.
Yeah, I want it to be...
which will blow and just open your mind to freedom.
I want life-changing differences being made with this game. You're like, yeah, so many promises and ideas and beautiful ideas. He's the for anyone who's in business, he's the marketing person that has no grasp in reality, that demands things of a project that can never happen.
Those are the worst.
Those are the worst. Anyone who works at based job knows what I'm talking about and knows the people I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So that is pretty much the time we have for today. We're running a little late, so...
Well, there was
really
a
quick,
lot of stuff we talked about.
There was a lot of stuff we
did.
we had a lot. We had a lot.
It was a good week.
A lot of stuff. It was a good week.
Good week, yeah.
I'm excited to see some of these releases. I'm excited to get some more coverage on them. We'll be following up pretty soon with some new stuff. So keep an eye out for that. What have you guys been up to lately? What do you guys plan on playing this week? Really quick, Sarah.
Oh, well, I had the LAN last weekend, so I played a bunch of LAN games.
Nice.
Yeah, how did that go?
Anything of note?
Played a lot of the ship. Just
love that
a
game.
lot of fun, and we played the mode where you are world leaders trying to kill each other, which is freaking hilarious. So we played the heck out of that. We played some Minecraft, Seth Bling's building game, which is Telestrations. I don't know, we played a lot of fun stuff, but that kind of pooped me out, so I haven't really played that many games this week. I think I'm going to start getting back into Roller Coaster Tycoon, the original. So that's on my radar to play this weekend. I'm excited for that.
You brought up the ship. There's a game right now on it, and I had it up the other day, and I'm kicking myself that I don't have it up right now. There is a free-to-play game on Steam that is almost exactly like the ship. It's got that kind of hunting.
Yeah, which, if you guys don't know, the ship, you have targets, and you go around trying to find them and kill them, and the harder the weapon, the more money you get. I've had a lot of fun with purse bombs. So,
God, you know what? I'll link it on the YouTube version if you guys find it. I'll hunt it down soon. But it's a lot of fun. Basically my point is there's a free to play game that's very similar to it, and it looks like a lot of fun. So I will let you guys know later.
That's me, Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to finish Dying Light this weekend, and I will be getting Majora's Mask, so probably starting that. That's about it. How about you, Troy?
I am playing through the Escapists. I want to kind of get through that. Otherwise, I'm trying to finish up Dying Light. Excuse me. I almost said Dead Island like twice there.
You did. You're like, let me correct myself. Dead Island.
Same difference.
We are currently playing through Game of Thrones Telltale. I caved and bought it over the weekend. We've been snowed in Boston the last 2 weeks.
I heard you guys
3
got
weeks in a row.
6 feet of snow in 17 days.
That sounds about right. I'm staring at about an 8-foot snowdrift across the street.
A bunch of ceilings have collapsed.
Yes, it's been a lot of snow. So we've been kind of like, I was off work for 2 days and basically like a long weekend. So I've been out of work a lot actually, and so we've been kind of cooped up here, not with a lot to do. So we picked up Game of Thrones Telltale. So far it's a lot of fun, except I've realized that every decision you make is a bad decision, regardless of what it is.
Welcome to Game of Thrones.
So yeah, I have a hard time playing those Telltale games because of it. Every decision makes me feel like wrong. Like every like look and like they'll remember that.
Oh God,
just tears me apart inside.
Yeah, the weird part is,
like, I thought I was saying the right thing.
I think
Why will Marjorie remember that?
I think it honestly doesn't matter in the end.
I think it's more of a...
But it does matter in the end. It matters in the end.
Like,
in The Wolf Among Us that Justin and I am playing, you interact with a character, it says she will remember this, and then she's out of the story after that.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Oh, there's one in the Game of Thrones, like the first, in like the kind of intro prelude mission. He goes like, do you want to run with him or do you want to go and warn everybody? And you're like, no, I'm going to warn everybody. Bowen will remember that. 2 frames later, stab.
Yeah.
Like, he will not remember that.
It doesn't matter.
I think that's
dead.
more of a symbol of, at the end of each chapter, they're like, here's the percentage that chose this versus this. And it's more of a sign saying, your choice impacts this percentage.
I've got a bone to pick with Telltale real quick.
Okay, go for it.
We did that. We beat the first, we completed the first chapter. And then, it's like, hey, log into your Telltale account and see how you stack up against the world. And I logged in and they're like, alright, now you're logged in. Go play the game. They're like, we just did that.
I had that happen just with Game of Thrones. Just with Game of Thrones.
Just
and
with
then
Game of
Borderlands.
Thrones. And I'm like, I can't. Alright, well, I guess I have to go play it again and remember every choice I made.
Oh, because
it didn't register that I wanted, like, what the choices were until after I
think that's new with
Game.
Game of Thrones. I didn't have to log in for the other games.
I think there's a way you can go back
Yeah, I
and
remember
check.
having to log in with, like, Walking Dead.
Yeah, but just saying, but besides Walking Dead, where I think, like, some people actually can die depending on your sessions, like, it seems like Game of Thrones, or the main things that are happening in Borderlands, it really doesn't matter what you pick. There's the parts that you think you have control over, you don't. It's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, there's like I said, the very beginning of the Game of Thrones, there's a scene where he's like, do you want to tell this guy to leave, or do you want to go save somebody else? And it doesn't matter. He's going to die. Everyone you're talking to is going to die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Spoilers for the first 5 minutes of the game.
Spoilers for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, spoiler Game of Thrones. They're going to die. Do you like that character? There's a good chance they're going to die.
No, they will die. Oh,
Game of Thrones, tagline, don't get attached.
Don't get attached. Anyways, that is all the time we have. We are totally out of time. Thank you guys for joining us this week.
Mm-hmm.
Check back next week for another GlitchFeed podcast. We do release these on iTunes and YouTube now. So if you want to check that out, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks a lot. Let us know in the comments. Give us a like, whatever. If you're listening to on iTunes or any podcast application, give us some feedback. Give us a rating. You can find us really anywhere. So shoot us a message or whatever. And as always, check out our daily YouTube channel, Daily Glitch, over on YouTube for our daily news. And that is it. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
People.
And stop. And stop. And stop. And stop. And stop. And stop. And stop.